Hello, everybody. This is TOEFL IBT Online. I am your TOEFL robot. Since last week, a student asked me about how to improve his writing score. So today I am going to give you the idea how to grade your independent essay to score a 5. And you can also check these 10 sample essays I prepared to you guys. So, how to score a 5? Actually, it's simple. Has clear thesis, body paragraphs containing separate ideas, introduction and conclusion. Has clear transitions between paragraphs and a good flow. Strong vocabulary and grammar, with few errors. No essay will be absolutely perfect. A 5 essay can still have some grammar and spelling errors. Interesting, creative opinions and specific supporting details. So your essay should follow a very simple and direct 5-paragraph format. 1: Introduction, present thesis and an overview of main ideas. 2: The first body paragraph, topic sentence plus supporting details. 3: The second body paragraph, topic sentence plus supporting details. 4: The third body paragraph, topic sentence plus supporting details. 5: Conclusion, summarize thesis and main ideas. Okay, let's see 10 sample essays for TOEFL writing section. Sample Essay 1. Question: Movies and books can reflect the ideas and the spirit of a particular period. What have you learned about a place or its people from watching films or reading books? Use specific examples and details to support your response. Watching a movie may tell the viewer about the country in which it was made in a couple of ways. Primarily, he can see life in its natural environment. In addition, the viewer may understand the ideas the natives have about themselves. When he sees a movie, he gets complete information in unrehearsed form, leading to the ability to see how the people think about one another, and ultimately the viewer could integrate his ideas with those of the others. The movie tends to relate information that is usually most effective to the viewer if it comes naturally. For example, the speech accent from a particular area of the country may automatically blend in with the script. If a movie is filmed in the northern part of a country where a particular accent is dominant, that accent may shine through with the extras in the cast. Also, depending on the type of movie it is, environment sometimes plays a giant role in depicting the daily life of that area. The Great Plains region of the United States, for instance, relies heavily on the dairy industry for its capital. This may be obvious in movies set in that geographical location. Further, it is evident in movies set in the South that certain crops generate jobs, skilled or unskilled, create production for textile plants, contribute to the trucking industry, and sustain the economy in many other aspects, as well. This leads to the information the moviegoer gets about the people. Many movies stimulate conversation about a topic, perhaps an event from the past, that opens up feelings that are usually avoided in textbooks. The southern United States again provides 8 quote examples. In order to convey heartfelt resentment that one group harbored toward another, writers will include disparaging remarks, disturbing scenes, and even value judgments in the plots of movies. If the audience members watch closely enough, they can catch a wealth of information simply through the conversations. Plus, the movie producers and directors want to produce a lifelike situation, either to make a lot of money or to make a social comment. Consequently, the elements therein allow people to learn, much more so than by merely reading a book. These warrant some final consideration. Close observation opens up new worlds in many ways. It can tell us things we would otherwise never know. Most often, we see more when we look and listen. Fortunately, movies give us that option, but it requires diligence. Sample Essay 2. Question: Compare and contrast learning by doing to learning by reading. In your opinion, which is better? Explain. Generally speaking, Learning by doing affects one more on a personal basis compared to learning from books, which provides a more practical use in a high-tech world. The personal knowledge may come from pain, or it may even define an individual. On the other hand, book learning gives benefits regarding career development and more informative material. These benefits need examination. Regardless of the source of knowledge, it is always wise to make it serve the learner. Experience gives an edge many times in areas of dealing with people and problems, things people do not particularly look forward to. However, though information from books includes how to deal effectively with people and certain kinds of problems, that information does not measure up to experience. Experience teaches how to be patient in certain circumstances. Although a book might actually suggest that patience is beneficial, it can never describe or teach the way experience can. In addition, having been through crises, any individual should be better equipped to handle the next crisis that may happen along. Plugging that same scenario into the book, a text can never prepare the reader for the loss of a child. There is no comparison between reading about it and living it. As strong as man is at times, he is rarely stronger than when he has been through the most trying of experiences. On the contrary, a fellow might live in a foreign country and never get the same linguistic level of competence by only hearing and speaking as opposed to studying a language. A mechanic who has worked on cars for 20 years would probably never trade in his experience for a book. Yet, the book-educated mechanics, their managers and employers would probably not trade in their background. The stalemate requires some closing thoughts. Regardless of the pros and the cons on both sides, not everyone will agree on all the aspects. Character is an individual thing, and every experience is different. Therefore, no two individuals experience the same benefits from the same experience. Likewise, knowledge from a book has the same effect, at least at times, but one tries to get what he can to help him totally develop. Sample Essay 3. Question: One argument states that higher education should be open to everyone, regardless of background. The opposing argument says that only the elite students should be allowed to proceed. Discuss these ideas. Do you agree or disagree? Explain why. The idea that an education should be available to all or restricted to only good students requires scrutiny on 2 points. Mainly, the term good needs clarification beyond the common idea of better than average grades. Plus, the word open needs a stricter definition than the normal usage. Let us delve into these ideas. To insist that students should have an unusually high grade point average to attend college is rooted in the idea that the more motivated students will excel. This is true in many cases. However, the idea of good transcends the stereotype of the guy with thick glasses and his head in a book for 6 hours every night, in addition to school. The student not taken into consideration here is the one that works for 6 hours every night in addition to going to school during the day. His grades may be at the B average, but his time is spread more thinly than that of the student who has all A's and has never worked a day in his life. Therefore, the common idea of a good student fails under that light, which leads to the concept of openness. In many countries now, higher education is available to all students, at least in terms of open enrollment. Nevertheless, available does not mean free. In the United States, for example, people have the option to attend even if they do not take the high school diploma, but school may not be paid for by the government. Yet, loans are available. There is little excuse not to attend, if a person truly wants to do so. With the right application and the right contacts through government agencies, an aspiring scholar can get that degree. Opportunity is there. There are numerous monies accessible to the public, even in developing countries, such as private grants, private scholarships, federal loans, private loans, and private scholarships, and these are even gotten sometimes by students in developing countries, financed by some of the world's superpowers. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. The systems are not perfect, and not everyone can live a luxurious life. But the chances are there if people pursue their options. Regardless of what some others may think, we all have to follow our dreams. Sample Essay 4. Question: Private schools enforce a dress code. Most public schools allow students to dress as they like. Discuss both systems. Allowing a student to express individuality through what he wears has its advantages, but so does wearing a uniform. Personal expression is best at schools that foster individuality. Conversely, a uniform at a military school stresses the need to conform. These ideas require further examination. Certain schools are built around the idea of nurturing the creative side of a student. Schools like these include performing arts schools, schools for theater, ballet, and even art. To force a child in an environment like one of these to wear a strict kind of clothing would indeed confine one's personal creativity. One's dress is the most basic of personal styles. It speaks volumes about character, class, and color coordination. Performing arts schools are built on the premise that interest should be cultured and refined, even brought out and expressed in public. Therefore, to suppress students' personal styles by imposing a dress code tears down progress in the area of personal expression. On the other hand, expression can sometimes tear down the entire program, as in the military. Military schools are built on the foundation of obedience. The whole organization runs on orders. The orders come from the top, most often with no explanation at all. The effectiveness of the system is based on the ready compliance of the subordinates to follow the orders. Expression in this kind of environment could have disastrous effects, even death. The purpose is to strip away personal ideas that may conflict with the overall mission of the military as a whole. The dress code might even serve the most basic of functions, such as indicating a student's rank and post. This type of categorizing of the student in school enables the student to be prepared for the real thing in the military, perhaps with the safety of a nation at stake. There is no easy answer to cover all the aspects. In closing, the dress code, or uniform, holds a very important function in some types of schools, but not in all. In high crime areas, the uniform is helpful to avoid gang fights brought on by the wearing of certain colors. In private schools, the students know what to expect and readily adopt the uniform. In opposition, other places will never completely accept the idea of the same look, because it goes against the principles of the students and faculty alike. Sample Essay 5. Question: Colleagues are the people who work with us. In your opinion, what are the qualities of a good colleague? Use specific details and examples in your answer. The good colleague can be classified into many categories, but the two main categories are apparent. Obviously, the best colleague is a helpful person. Although a good colleague is not always a personal and close friend, he knows how to respect personal space. These ideas necessitate further exploration. The helpful colleague is there in an infinite number of situations. If one's vehicle is not working satisfactorily, the colleague may offer assistance at the perfect time. A ride goes a long way in the cold. Moreover, the friendly wave from across the room speaks volumes during a long day at work. A watchful eye around the area keeps work overload to a minimum when people help each other out. The needed tool or some advice is sometimes found at the next desk. These things appear small, but they add up. As it is good to see the friend when in need, it is also good not to see him. Personal space is a luxury that most people cherish. As a result, a worker always wants to see quiet time as quiet time. It can be highly annoying to read something twice. Also, at times, people just do not want to talk. Along those lines, to respect a person's privacy means to know when not to wave, when not to come and ask for a tool, and when not to make conversation. Some final words may shed more light on the subject. Around the world, people always deal with good and bad coworkers. Regardless of the cultural differences between people, they usually appreciate help and respect. Though the definitions vary, a good colleague is usually helpful and respectful at the same time. It is all a matter of kindness. Sample Essay 6. Question: do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Participating in sports is worthwhile only when you win something. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. Participating in sports can certainly be more rewarding if a player wins, but it can be fun even in the face of defeat. The word only in the question needs to be examined. In addition, the term sports should be defined more clearly. Without looking at these two words more closely, the statement may be illogical. To deem something effective in a set of circumstances by using the word only completely limits its power. Then, the use of only here sets up an either or illogical fallacy. In other words, a person can never have fun if he does not win. That suggests that even a ball game with a tight score cannot produce any fun at all. Consequently, during a 5-hour game of cricket, not even 1 minute of fun will be included if the game is lost. The word only makes that point unrealistic. There is no way to put off fun until the end of the game and then have it only if one wins. That takes us to the word game. There are countless games in every society on Earth. These include athletic games, word games, mind games, and combinations of them all. It is extremely likely that someone will enjoy herself while competing against other people. The nature of many sports reinforces relaxation, laughter, and friendship. Teammates and competitors often joke around during the actual game itself, adhering to the premise that people have fun only when they win. It is ridiculous to assume that opponents will even laugh at all until the final score is realized. After all, laughter indicates enjoyment. Furthermore, a lot of games exist whereby one plays against herself. What if she beats herself? Then, who wins and who loses? If she beats her last score, as occurs with many computer games, can she be a happy winner and a sore loser at the same time? These qualifications lead to some final comments. It is certainly more fun, at least most of the time, to win rather than to lose. However, the sport is in the competition, and the pride is in the excellence. Losing, or not winning the game, is usually a building block to success. Everyone loses at something at some point. The winners learn from it and improve on their mistakes. Sample Essay 7. Question: do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Perseverance makes people stronger. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. Doing things or going through things that are not particularly enjoyable has a world of benefits for the average individual. Immediately, the fortitude produces character. In the long run, things fall into place. At the time, the bothersome task seems worrisome, but it builds strength, leading to self-improvement and a comfortable lifestyle, and eventually a merry heart for what was endured. Constantly conquering the daily routine establishes an inner strength. This creates a foundation, making everything that is laid on top seem much easier and more beneficial. The student, for instance, usually does not like to trudge to class on a daily basis with his nose in the books and sit through lecture after lecture. But he does, and it pays off with every little step. Friday's class comes a lot easier than Monday's class comes. The second year is better than the first. The 4-hour study session gradually becomes like the 2-hour one was before. All in all, the endurance levels increase, both physically and mentally, and the tasks are faced head-on, with a mindset labeled as character. These immediate benefits have a long-term result, as well. Over time, from repeatedly doing what one hates to do, for the sake of future success, he starts to reap his harvest from all of the seeds of hard work sown. This may be experienced in a number of ways, namely a better job, more money, a nice house, and vertical mobility. The constant application produces a force that moves problems and barriers. From here, better job offers roll in, all spiraling from the insistence on doing what has to be done, whether enjoyable or not. Corporate professionals in middle management exemplify this principle. They work without stopping, taking every small assignment in stride, until they can finally look back from an angle of repose. But the process does not stop there. Usually, success at any level will be furthered by completing the necessary menial tasks. At times, the period of reward may seem very distant, but the time of benefit will come, perhaps even gradually. Then, hopefully, one will have the luxury to look back and reflect. Then, he may even say, I made it. Sample Essay 8. Question: do you agree or disagree with the following statement? One should not give up on getting a degree just because she is a little older. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. An apt rewording of the statement could be that people are never too old to learn. Learning is definitely a lifelong process. A structured environment could very well facilitate the flow of information. These require more discussion. Whatever the influence, people are always picking up new ideas. This is advantageous for a number of reasons. Primarily, humans look for ways to make things easier, which affects our daily life positively, leaving time for other things like family and relaxation. So, regardless of how people acquire information, it still equals learning. Each time one drives a new way to work in order to save time, he is learning. Similarly, to get things we want, we sometimes have to go through structured programs to get more knowledge on a subject. This, perhaps, may help to get a promotion, receive a higher salary, or even start a new career. Quite a few institutions have recognized this and have planned curricula in response to a growing need. The advent of the internet and other outreach programs has caused an explosion in programs for non-traditional university students. Now, more schools than ever before have special programs whereby a student may get a BA, MA, or a PhD without ever attending one class at the university. Our world has become so filled up with other responsibilities that we rarely have the opportunity to attend school, as people did 50 years ago. But diligent school administrators have provided us the luxury of attending school in the comfort of our own homes. The structure of the traditional classroom is not the only one available to meet our needs. The people who were for years looked at sideways for being 30 and returning to school have now supplanted the focus of programs tailored around their wants and academic needs. New departments have sprung up, or old ones have taken on a new mission. Currently, they include telling names, such as lifelong learning, adult learners, non-traditional students, distance programs, lifelong education, and many others. The educational institutions are changing with the times. As technology changes to help us, we will change to better help ourselves. There really are an inordinate number of opportunities to get the education if one wants it badly enough. The population of non-traditional age students has skyrocketed, so one should never feel out of place. Doing the work is simply a question of priority. Sample Essay 9. Question: some people claim living in a rural area is better than living around a lot of people. Comment: use specific reasons and details to support your answer. People call the city or the small town home for a wealth of reasons, each having its own advantages and disadvantages. Primarily, the small town people espouse familiarity. In contrast, the city dwellers hide amidst the anonymity. These statements require further scrutiny. In a small town or in the country, the citizens become acquainted rather quickly. This acquaintance has several subtopics to it. First, Families become friends for many generations, and that has a profound impact on lives. The families sometimes intermarry. Consequently, if people do relocate, often they later return to their original home, because both sets of parents live there. Next, land is often involved. Therefore, a kinship is made to the area and not only the people. It is difficult to walk away from an inheritance involving land. Finally, people work together on community projects, bonding them together by the process of building something. If a new Walmart comes to town, everyone feels the spirit of progress together. This stands in direct contrast to life in the city. The city has many attractive features that lure, just like the small town. The idea of not being readily recognized may appeal to some. With several million people in a metropolis and its surrounding areas, one could go for years and never run into an acquaintance. They probably usually have no desire to return someplace after they leave. There is nothing to keep them stationary. In addition, in that there is no kinship to land, city dwellers like the freedom of mobility. They could move every several months and always have something new. As the city consistently experiences growth, one may look for the best spot to live, replete with post office, an array of restaurants, diversity of culture, and any number of conveniences. The only link a city dweller has in a lot of cases to anything is his own desire to be free. Additional comments follow. The city and the small town have many benefits to consider. What is right to start out life could change as one gets older. People are lucky at times that they do not have to choose, at least not forever, but can move at will. Maybe this is why some richer people have homes both in the small town and in the city. Sample Essay 10. Question: Snap judgments can never be trusted. Do you agree or disagree with the statement? Use reasons and examples to support your opinion. Two major types of judgments are usually made quickly. Personal decisions can be catastrophic if made without thinking. On the other hand, professional healthcare workers are definitely trained to make life-changing decisions every day. The wrong personal decision may lead to heartache just as the wrong professional decision could lead to death. Decisions involving marriage, family, and significant others can be heartbreaking. Here, if one does not allow time to see the situation from every side, the results might be devastating. These decisions should not be taken lightly. To get married is a prime example. To take this lightly is foolish. The process of deciding takes time and prudence. These are scenarios that do not have life and death hanging in the balance. So, one should avail herself of time available. Unfortunately, for others, especially doctors and nurses, there is no time to sit and think. One would certainly hope that decisions made quickly are not always wrong. In fact, if that were true, many of our loved ones would not be here with us now. Doctors, namely those in the emergency rooms around the world, are bombarded by situations that require immediate diagnosis and prognosis. If either is wrong, someone may pay with his life. Firemen face danger in the same manner. Rushing into a burning building, turning to the left and to the right, a fireman must absolutely make the right choice, or die. Others depend on him, too. All involved probably know that the stakes are high, any way things go. The difference between personal and professional decisions is usually twofold. The level of training one has prior to making life decisions and the worst possible result are both inextricably wound up together. It is, then, wise to think in advance. Lastly, it is good that blanket statements do not always ring true. Thank you for watching. I am your TOEFL robot. See you in next lecture.